Hey you guys, it's Rashad. Welcome back to my channel, and I am so excited to say that I'm officially going into my second month of real estate. So as a new real estate agent, I've gotten the opportunity to work with a lot of real estate investors, and it has been so amazing just watching how they operate and what it's like in the world of investors. I discovered investing about a year ago, and I started looking into people like Warren Buffett and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and I know we all know these people, but it's more, what did they do to get to where they are? And essentially, I went down this rabbit hole of watching a bunch of videos and reading a bunch of articles about investing, flipping and renting properties, and understanding the power of credit. And if I've learned anything in my last 60 days as a realtor, it's how important leverage is. And that's why I'm going to ask you guys for help earning my first $100,000 in real estate. And now that I'm getting a little bit more comfortable in the systems and models of what it's like to be a real estate agent, I want to keep you guys up to date on everything going on in the world of real estate and investing. As a real estate agent, I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of people, including people who have made millions of dollars investing in real estate. Of course, me being the person who wants to know how did someone make millions of dollars, I started to observe the systems and models that they utilized to get to where they were. This information is so important for anyone who wants to get into investing, for the simple fact that when I first started and I didn't know anything, I actually lost thousands of dollars just trying things and trying to understand what was happening. And if you're still wondering what you can do to support me on this goal of earning my first $100,000 in real estate, all you need to do is make sure you give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video with one friend who may be interested in real estate. I don't know if it's just me, but I noticed that there was a lot of brand new investors coming into the world of investing. And without the proper guidance and coaching, new investors are bound to make a lot of costly mistakes. So if you or someone that you know is possibly interested in getting into real estate or starting your investment career, these are 5 things that I've noticed that all successful people have embedded into their lives to make sure that they continue to be successful. And to start us off, the very first thing is just to make sure you're doing your own research. One of the things that I've noticed a lot about people who get into investing is that they hear it's a good idea and they actually have no idea what they're doing. So this point is actually very pivotal for people to comprehend, because research is the foundation of how well you'll succeed in the world of investing. So let me just start by saying this. Investing has its risk, and you mitigate that risk by just learning more about what you're doing. When I first started investing, I had no idea what was going on. I mean, I watched a couple videos on YouTube that told me that this is what you do. You open this account, you add a little bit of money, and you're good. And of course, with all this money on the table with investing, I did what any rational person would do, and I started with opening 3 different accounts. After opening these accounts, I started putting money in there, and I actually had no idea what to buy or how to utilize any of these accounts. It wasn't until about 2 or 3 weeks later and a 2-hour phone call with this Fidelity support line that I actually figured out how to buy my first index fund. One of those accounts that I opened, actually I still have today, which was probably one of the best things that I ever did, which was open my Roth IRA. If you don't know what an IRA is, I'll drop a link to a video in the description below explaining how you can utilize an IRA to become a tax-free millionaire. Knowing that most people probably won't click the link in the description, I'll briefly explain what it is. IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. And essentially the only difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA is just how they operate with taxes. And when it comes to investing in stocks and trading and investing in real estate, you don't necessarily have to know everything, but knowing a good bit on the front end before you start spending money is probably a really good idea. One of the things about trading and investing is if you're looking at headlines and not really understanding the market, then the only thing you'll have to go on is other people's opinions, like listening to some random people on YouTube. No matter where you're getting your information, trying to understand and piece together all of it is probably one of the best things that you can do. Because once you start investing, you start to discover something called compounding, or the compound effect. When you first start off in investing, you should do a lot of research and work more to learn than you work to earn. And the more that you work to learn at the beginning, the more you'll earn later on. There are a lot of things in the world of investing and entrepreneurship that look really, really exciting and that look like they can net you a lot of money. But without proper guidance and understanding of what's happening, you'll probably end up doing a lot of different things that really don't amount to anything. So as you're doing a lot of the research for yourself, make sure you're looking at what the shape of success looks like in the field that you're interested in going. Once you start into the broad world of investing, you'll soon realize that a lot of paths look like they can get you to where you thought you wanted to be. So one of the things that you should look for during your research is proven systems and models that have helped people get to where they need to be. The research that you do as a new investor will ultimately decide your success in the field, because during this time, you'll need to surround yourself and put yourself in an environment for success. Which actually brings me to my second point, which is discover who your 5 are. There's this old saying about how you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. So depending on who you hang around with and how much money they make, that actually directly correlates to about how much money you'll make. I'm not gonna spend too much time explaining how, anthropologically speaking, we're social creatures and we flock to the people whose ideas and values closely aligned with ours. So if you want to know more about it, you can read a book called The Tribe of Millionaires, and it does a really good job of explaining how all of this goes together. Now, I'm not saying to disown your friends and family. I'm saying that you have to focus on what group of people that you're going to spend the majority of your time with, and if that group of people is going to help you make money or just wants to see you stay exactly where you are. Now, I know there's a large group of people out there who think they're physically capable of doing whatever they want to do. And yes, we have the capacity to do whatever we'd like to do. But have you ever had that time where you had an idea and you brought it to maybe one of your friends or a family member and you told them and they completely shut it down? And immediately after that, you thought it was a terrible idea and never looked at it again. You didn't even bother to spend time and try to do any research. And that's why it's important to find people who support your goals and will help you get to where you need to be. The third thing that every investor needs to make sure that they have in the world of investing is a schedule. Have you ever heard that expression that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail? That definitely applies in the world of investing. No matter if you're trading pennies on the dollar, buying flip properties, wholesaling, or even getting properties subject to. If you don't have a plan and you're not following any proven systems and models, essentially you're just gambling. And as much as I love the casino as the next guy, when it comes to spending thousands and thousands of dollars, I'd like to see guaranteed results from someone else than maybe just trying something brand new when I don't really have a lot of disposable income. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be creative and do things that you want to try to do. What it means is you should start by doing what's proven that works and then getting creative from there. The reason that having a schedule is so important and having proven systems as models is because you know how much time you need to dedicate to any given task and what task that you need to complete to make sure that you get to exactly where you need to be. Depending on what's on your schedule and what you're doing during that schedule, that will determine where you will be in a year, 3 years, or even 5. And the reason that a schedule for investing is important is because investing takes time. So you want to make sure that you're systematically planning how you're going to succeed over that period of time. And if you want to make a schedule and don't know where to start, then just ask yourself one question. What is one thing that I can do this year that will make everything else in my life either easier or unnecessary? While you think about that one thing that you need to do this year to make everything else in your life either easier or unnecessary, we're going to go on to point number 4 that every new investor in the world of investing needs to make sure that they have together, and that is creating a budget. Now, this one I realize is a major problem. With statistics like 40% of Americans not being able to afford a $400 emergency, that just goes to show how hard it is for not just investors, but the everyday American to create a functional budget. So of course, if you want to be successful in the world of investing, you need to create a budget. And this budget must hold all of your incremental expenses accountable to some multiple of incremental result or income. And because this is for people who are new to the world of investing, there are 3 things about a budget that you must make sure that you understand and prepare before you start your journey in investing. The first thing is creating an emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund is simply just 6 months to a year's worth of savings of all necessary expenses. Because making more money doesn't really just all of a sudden give you the ability of understanding how it works and how to properly spend it. When you invest, you're investing money that you don't want to touch for 20, 30, or even 60 years at a time. Also, while creating your budget, make sure you have a plan of attack for all debt. Now, paying down your debt is important because there's something called your DTI, which is your debt to income ratio. And whenever you get deep into investing and are ready to scale your business using a little bit of leverage through financial means, then it's going to get really hard to have a loan if you have a lot of debt and not a lot of income. And the third thing about building your budget, in addition to paying down your debt, is building up your credit history. We're not going to get deep into credit. I've actually made a couple of videos about it, so I'll link them in the description below if you want to check them out. But essentially, your credit history is one of the largest and strongest leverage tools that you can possibly have when starting off in investing. And the last thing that I've noticed that all successful investors have had is a big why. In reality, investing is one of those things that looks so easy on the back end, but it takes a lot of time and effort. As you start to get deeper into investing, you slowly realize that there's a monotony to success. You start to have to do things constantly that seem repetitive, monotonous, and tedious. And if you don't have a big enough reason to continue doing them, eventually you're just going to give up because you're tired of freaking doing it. When it comes to creating a portfolio of assets that produce over $1 million in annual revenue a year, it takes time and it's a lot of work and learning. And if you don't really have a big enough reason to make $1 million, you're not going to want to do it. And that's also why doing your own research is important. Creating a schedule and a budget to see how much money you're even willing to spend on this. Use the money that you have to begin with to learn things. Go to seminars, buy books. The world of investing and entrepreneurship is so big. Some people create websites and their own clothing brands, others buy and sell real estate, and others day trade. There are so many different things that you can do, but you have to find something that you're passionate about, that you're willing to take the time and learn and spend the money on resources to better that skill. Because investing is hard. It takes time and it requires a lot of effort to learn how to do it properly. And for the sake of the length of this video, I'm not really gonna go deep into explaining why your purpose and how passionate you are and your mentality about what you're doing is so important to the levels of your success. But if you're curious, I will make a video about it a little down the line. But for now, I would suggest that you read a book called The Magic of Thinking Big, Start With Why, and Think and Grow Rich. And with all that being said, thank you for watching this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to give this video a like if you haven't already for the YouTube algorithm, and make sure you're staying tuned because there are a lot of exciting things in the world of investing that I would love for you guys to experience with me here on this channel. If you're interested in learning about anything in the world of investing, feel free to drop that down in the comment section below and I will find a professional to talk about it here on this channel for you. And I'll see you guys next time here on this channel when we talk more about the world of investing. And just remember that everyone can do it, but not everyone will.